Today, state leaders released SB 234, a bill that takes away the city's land use authority in the Northwest Quadrant, which comprises more than a third of the city. For 2 years, the city has been working in good faith with the state and private property owners to develop an infrastructure backbone to serve both the new prison and to allow for the expansion of business in this area. We have enacted a master plan, determined zoning, and established a redevelopment project area, all with the support of the private property owners in that neighborhood. Unfortunately, today's bill strips ultimate land use authority from Salt Lake City and our core city function. This means that the city officials you have elected to represent you will not have final say on critical land use decisions for over 24,000 acres that exist in Salt Lake City proper. This is larger than most cities in the state of Utah. The bill creates a governance board with broad authority and limited city participation and no final accountability for city elected officials. This, of course, is very troubling because it creates a dangerous precedent in which the state could enact similar legislation and quickly take over land use authority of other cities if state officials disagree with that city's land use decisions. This legislation could very well set the precedent for limiting local involvement in opportunity areas like St. George and Logan. Though this is a first draft of the legislation, the city feels it is completely inappropriate for the efforts already underway and undermines the goals of partnership we thought we had with the state. The city is committed to smart, environmentally responsible, and strategic development of the Northwest Quadrant. We have heard from the property owners and other community members that they trust our subject matter experts to ensure that the development is done reasonably. We have made significant progress with the property owners who continue to express their confidence in the city's expertise, and rightfully so, because land use has been our core function since the city was incorporated. In the coming days, you will hear more about the city's concerns as we work with the state to create more appropriate legislation which respects local control and keeps the development moving forward. There will be a special City Council work session tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. to discuss this legislation. It can be viewed at www.slccouncil.com. Both my office and the City Council will work diligently to keep the public involved in this process as it unfolds. We are confident we can work with our partners at the state to accomplish the goals we share while retaining the city's land use authority and control. Today, Council member and Chair Aaron Mendenhall and I met with Senator Jerry Stevenson to share our concerns about the bill. Senator Stevenson had shared with us that he would work with the drafting attorney to take into consideration the concerns we raised. The bill was released today, and put on an agenda tomorrow. We have been told by Senator Stevenson that the hearing for that bill will be postponed as we continue to work on this together. I'm open for any questions.
Were you surprised? I know Speaker Hughes and some other lawmakers had said that they were at the meeting about a month ago to do this in good faith. Do you feel that they kept their side of the bargain, or do you feel that it was out of their hands?
Out of their hands?
Sorry, when they spoke, they had said that on the House side that they were working on this bill. This is a Senate bill that came out. Do you think that they kept their side of the bargain of what they said they were going to do versus what you see in the bill?
Well, it is my understanding that Senator Stevenson had been working with the House in the drafting of this bill.
Mayor, I understand you and city leaders have been trying to help draft this bill over the past last week or so, right? And so what makes you think that you guys can make it any better, even though you've been trying to work with state leaders already?
I think there are some pressures that are being brought to bear that are interfering in the progress of this bill in a fashion that is successful for our city. But I also think that you can bring people together to be reasonable, to be respectful of a city's land use authority. And I think the majority of legislators really care about preserving land use authority at the local level. And I think knowing that history about our legislative body, that there is real opportunity here to change this dialogue. You know, we said we would work together on a bill, but we were never brought to the table in the crafting of this bill. And when it was released, the language in it obviously was surprising. We certainly shared what we thought would be good compromises and create a fair partnership, but that is not what's reflected here.
How exactly does it encroach on the city's tax or land use authority? I understand reading the bill that the board itself doesn't have power over that jurisdiction, but the appeals panel that it would create does?
So the bill is crafted in a way that this governing board has final say over a land use decision in this part of Salt Lake City. And it is a board that has no accountability to the people that live here. It is a board with minimal participation through appointments that the city gets to make. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done. I am very hopeful that we get back to what we were really trying to do, and that was create a team of people to help bring the inland port to fruition. And the bill became very convoluted with many other issues, which I think is very problematic.
How does it affect the city's tax increment?
Well, there is a piece in there, a 5% piece of tax increment that would go to this board to be spent however the board wants. That is taxpayer money with no accountability tied to that authority.
Are you okay? You're not okay with that 5%, even though maybe they might look at that 5% and say that this board would need to have some revenue to do stuff, right?
You know, I think we could get to a reasonable amount of money for a governing board to obtain, but there certainly should be parameters on how that money could be spent, and that's simply not in the bill. And, you know, 5% is a pretty large amount of tax increment. I know that, you know, what probably would be more reasonable is like a 0.5%. So that tells you how big that piece really is.
Sorry, guys, I'm hogging it.
It's all right. Any other questions? Okay.
Well, as I understood it, that one of the things, it appeared that they could have just passed this bill even without the city. Do they feel that this was the good compromise that they came to with the city, or do you feel that your ideas weren't even considered?
Yeah, our ideas aren't in the bill. There's nothing about the bill that says a compromise is inside of it. I think now that we've met with the good senator, I think he is going to work in good faith on a compromise. I believe that. I think he did not fully understand the overreach of the bill until we walked him through it.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like from some of the last meetings, the public meetings that were about this issue, was that the state maybe could have stepped in and just taken away the land authority anyways, and that you guys were trying to find a compromise that didn't seem like it was a land grab. Is that about correct, or do they still need the city's approval to build and do stuff there, and build this in the?
Well, the area is master planned in a way to be able to do a port right now, today. So, you know, there's confusion on our part about why the bill has so many new aspects and elements in it that weren't even discussed with the city. So there's work to be done, and we'll continue to work, and I'm looking forward to the city council meeting tomorrow, the special meeting that's been called, and we'll have a chance to walk through this in a more public fashion, and then we can see where we go from there.
Do any lawmakers plan to be there to testify?
You know what, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, everyone, for being here.